Imagine there was a place on Earth where stepping onto the beach could get you arrested. Another, where thousands of deadly snakes live on one small island. A secret military base surrounded by endless conspiracy theories. And a tribe so isolated that the government has made it illegal for anyone to visit. These places aren't hidden in movies. They aren't made-up stories from the internet. They're real. And today, we're counting down 7 places you're banned from visiting. And the surprising reasons why. Some are dangerous. Some protect history. And one of them has remained untouched for thousands of years. Let's begin. Most people think the world has already been explored. After all, we have satellites, Google Maps, and millions of people traveling every single day. But even today, there are places almost nobody is allowed to enter. Some are protected by governments, others by nature, and a few are simply too dangerous for anyone to survive. The strange part, the reasons behind these places are often far more interesting than the places themselves. Starting with number 7. Lascaux Cave, France. Imagine finding one of the greatest discoveries in human history, completely by accident. In 1940, 4 teenagers were walking through a forest in France when their dog disappeared into a small hole. As they looked inside, they found something incredible. The walls were covered with paintings, huge bulls, horses, deer, and strange symbols. These paintings were more than 17,000 years old. People from around the world wished to see them. At first, that seemed like a wonderful idea, but nobody realized the visitors were slowly destroying the cave. Every breath released tiny amounts of carbon dioxide and moisture into the air. Over time, the paintings began to fade. Small patches of mold started growing across the walls. Scientists knew something had to change. So the French government made a difficult decision. The cave was closed to the public forever. Today, only a handful of scientists are allowed inside under very strict conditions. Instead, visitors can explore an exact copy built nearby. Sometimes, the greatest treasures aren't protected by locks. They're protected by simply keeping people away. But the next place wasn't closed because of ancient paintings. It was closed because scientists wanted nature to write its own story. Number 6. Surtsey Island, Iceland. Imagine standing on the deck of a fishing boat in the middle of the ocean. Everything is calm. The waves move gently beneath you. Then suddenly, the sea explodes. Black smoke shoots into the sky. Fire rises from beneath the water, and right before your eyes, a brand new island is born. That is exactly what happened in 1963 near the southern coast of Iceland. For almost 4 years, underwater volcanoes continued erupting. Slowly, more and more land appeared above the ocean. When the eruptions finally stopped, a completely new island stood where there had once been nothing but water. Scientists knew this was an incredible opportunity. Usually, islands are already filled with plants, animals, and insects by the time people begin studying them. But Surtsey was different. Everything would start from zero. Scientists wanted to see exactly how nature creates a new ecosystem. Which plant would arrive first? How long would birds take to build nests? When would insects appear? To find the answers, they had to protect the island. Today, almost nobody is allowed to visit Surtsey. Only a small number of scientists receive permission to land there. Even they must follow strict rules. They check their shoes for seeds. They clean their equipment. They aren't even allowed to leave behind food or waste that could change the island naturally. Every tiny change matters, because Surtsey is one of the few places on Earth where nature is still writing its own story. Sometimes, the rarest places aren't protected because they're dangerous. They're protected because they're priceless. But our next location is protected for a very different reason. Not because of science, but because of secrets. Number 5. Area 51, United States. Imagine driving for hours through the Nevada desert. There are no cities, no houses, no gas stations, only empty roads stretching across the sand. Then, you notice a warning sign. It tells you to stop. It warns that entering the area without permission is illegal. Cameras watch every movement. Security vehicles wait in the distance. And beyond those mountains sits one of the most mysterious places in the world, Area 51. For decades, people have wondered what really happens inside this heavily protected military base. Some believe the government is hiding alien spacecraft. Others think secret experiments take place underground. Movies, TV shows, and the internet have turned Area 51 into one of the biggest mysteries in modern history. But what do we actually know? The truth is much less dramatic, at least officially. Area 51 is part of a United States military testing area. Over the years, it has been used to develop and test highly secret aircraft. Because those projects were classified, the government revealed very little about what happened there. That silence created endless rumors. In 2013, the US government officially acknowledged the existence of Area 51, but many of its activities remain classified. That's why the mystery continues. The roads leading to the base are watched 24 hours a day. Warning signs clearly tell visitors not to cross the boundary. Although the exact security procedures aren't public, entering the restricted area can lead to arrest and serious legal consequences. Whatever happens inside, only a small number of people truly know. And perhaps that's exactly why the world remains so fascinated by it. But if you think a secret military base is difficult to enter, the next place is protected by something far more dangerous than fences or cameras: nature itself, and thousands of deadly snakes. Number 4. Snake Island, Brazil. Imagine standing on a small island where almost every step could bring you face to face with one of the world's deadliest snakes. It sounds like something from a horror movie, but this place is completely real. Just off the coast of Brazil lies Ilha da Queimada Grande, better known as Snake Island. From a distance, it looks beautiful. Green trees, rocky cliffs, clear blue water. But hidden beneath the leaves is one of the highest concentrations of venomous snakes anywhere on Earth. The island is home to the golden lancehead. This snake exists nowhere else in the world. Its venom is incredibly powerful and can cause severe damage to human tissue within a short time. Scientists believe the snakes became trapped on the island thousands of years ago after sea levels rose, separating it from the mainland. With no large animals to hunt, they adapted over generations. Today, they mainly feed on birds that stop on the island during migration. Because of the danger, Brazil has heavily restricted access to the island. Only trained researchers and a few approved experts are allowed to visit under special permission. For everyone else, the island is completely off limits. Sometimes, nature creates places that humans were simply never meant to explore. But our next location wasn't abandoned because of snakes. It was abandoned because of disease, death, and stories that still refuse to disappear. Number 3. Poveglia Island, Italy. Just a short boat ride from Venice sits a small island that almost nobody visits, not because it's hard to reach, but because of its dark history. This is Poveglia Island. Hundreds of years ago, when deadly diseases like the plague spread across Europe, thousands of sick people were sent here to be isolated from the rest of the population. Many never left. Centuries later, A psychiatric hospital was built on the island. The hospital eventually closed, and the buildings were abandoned. Today, the empty hospital, broken walls, and overgrown pathways have turned Poveglia into one of Italy's most famous abandoned islands. Over the years, many ghost stories have appeared online. Some visitors claim they hear strange voices. Others say they feel like someone is watching them. There is no scientific evidence that the island is haunted, but its real history is already unsettling enough. Because of safety concerns and restrictions, the island is generally closed to the public. Sometimes, the truth can be just as disturbing as the legends. But if you think abandoned hospitals are mysterious, the next place has remained almost completely untouched by the modern world. Number 2, North Sentinel Island, India. Imagine looking at an island from a helicopter. White beaches, thick forests, crystal clear water. It looks like paradise. But this is one place where you should never try to land. North Sentinel Island is home to the Sentinelese people. They are one of the last uncontacted tribes on Earth. For thousands of years, they have lived without modern technology and have chosen to remain isolated from the outside world. Whenever outsiders have tried to approach the island, the tribe has often responded by defending their home. To protect both the Sentinelese and visitors, the Indian government has made it illegal to go near the island without special authorization. This isn't because the people are dangerous. It's because outside contact could expose them to diseases they have little or no immunity against. Even a common cold could have devastating consequences. The island remains one of the few places on Earth where modern civilization has almost no influence. In a world connected by the internet, satellites, and smartphones, North Sentinel Island reminds us that some places still choose to remain completely separate. And that brings us to the most surprising place on today's list. Number 1. The Doomsday Vault. Norway, hidden deep inside a frozen mountain on a remote Arctic island, is a place designed to protect the future of humanity. It's called the Svalbard Global Seed Vault. From the outside, it looks like a simple concrete entrance sticking out of the snow. But behind that door, millions of seeds from almost every country on Earth are stored inside secure underground chambers. The idea is simple. If a global disaster ever destroys crops around the world, wars, climate change, natural disasters, or anything else, these seeds could help rebuild the world's food supply. Because of its importance, the vault has extremely limited access. Only authorized staff and approved seed deposits are allowed inside. Most people will never see what's hidden beyond its massive steel doors. In many ways, this is one of the most important places on Earth. Not because it hides treasure, not because it hides secrets, but because it protects the future. It's strange to think that while millions of people travel the world every year, some of the most fascinating places can only be seen from a distance, whether they're protected by science, nature, history, or governments. These places remind us that not every corner of our planet is meant to be explored. Sometimes, the greatest mysteries are the ones we'll never be allowed to see. If you enjoyed today's journey, don't forget to subscribe for more real mysteries, hidden places, and incredible stories from around the world. Until next time, stay curious.